Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports, episode 64.
Four.
All right,
Who did we
64.
determine it was?
God damn it. How do we already forget Ryan?
I
That's
had-
your job.
I had Dave Wilcox.
Right, you did
Not
have
like-
Dave.
That one wasn't an easy thing to find. So maybe
Yeah,
we
I
can
found a
go
list
with-
though.
We can just go with Black Rob and Shock G. If you
Jerry
want.
Kramer, but he's not going to make the episode. It's going to be Shock G, of course, and Black.
And Black Rob. Yeah. So it's been a tough year, tough few years. Since the last pod news came out that Black Rob passed away, and then a day or so ago, we found out that Shock G passed away. Also on the same day, we found out that NBA draft prospect, I think he was from Kentucky, was driving home from practice, had a car crash, and he passed away himself. His name is Terrence Clark. So rest in peace to those three.
Brutal.
K-Dot, I know Black Rob, you said that was one of your
It's my
might
guy.
be your favorite rapper.
He's my not quite, but he's my guy. Like there's those rappers that like you have the connection to that you're kind of curious why nobody else feels the same way that you do about this. And that's always been Black Rob to me. And I brought him up on this podcast more than once. Last time being with the DMX episode when I said that he recorded that video, you could tell it was near the end for him. It just sucks. I wish and I hope that maybe it's something that you've said as far as giving people flowers when they're here and how it sucks when they don't get it. My only hope right now, since that didn't happen, is that people go back and look through the catalog. I still say from the Black Rob Report is one of my favorite albums of all time. He was a phenomenal storytelling rapper. There's a song, Long Live BR, where he goes through the entire song is him sleeping with a girl, getting accused of her rape and murder, what the court process in the trial and everything's like, all in one song. That's a fucking bop. Like, it's just, the dude was in another league. He had a lot of shit going on with him. Outside of Black Rob, Shock Gita. That was that dude. Like he growing up, there was always, you saw him with the glasses and the nose, and it was always those stories like, hold on, is he Shock G? Like you didn't know for sure. Like you thought,
is your chance to do the
but you kind of thought maybe it was him. But there was this sort of mysticism. He was like a hood urban legend sort of thing. You ever see Shock G and Humpty in the same room? Nah, I haven't. It was like, he's got to be him, right? Like, it was one of those things that everybody used to talk about. But, I mean, for giving us Pac in that sort of light, like, Pac would have never had the trajectory he had if he didn't have to start with him.
Yeah, Pac was a dancer for Digital Underground and then hopped on the song.
Dude,
and
Digital Underground is like the catalyst for most of your favorite 90s rap.
Bay Area legends.
They made shit fun.
Like Nas, Tupac, like, and don't get me wrong, I love the Humpty Hump, but I had forgotten how much I loved it until like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I haven't listened to that record in like 15 years. Let me put it on. Man, I was dancing around the office like a fucking idiot.
The best shit about it today, I was driving Julio, like we had a couple meetings around the area. So I was playing Digital Underground and like she was like, yeah, my wife doesn't even know who Tupac is. Right? So this is like, yeah, I was angry.
Well, I'm angry at you because it does seem like your fault. Just saying.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, like she doesn't pay attention. She thinks everything sounds the same. She comes from,
What's her favorite music? Okay.
The shit that she thinks that, like, she thinks my music sounds the same. I think all of her shit sounds the same.
But
but like more like the bands and shit, the live bands.
Keep doing it. That was good, man.
Nah, not the like the reggaeton type stuff.
But you knew what that was like just by the one beat.
I know, but hers is more like the bands and stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. All right.
One last thing on Shock G. As a big movie aficionado, when I was a kid, a big movie that's prevalent because it played it a lot on TV and me being confused as shit. Have you ever seen the movie Nothing But Trouble with John Candy? It's a weird fucking movie. And randomly near the end, Digital Underground just makes an appearance and they're playing music in like this judge's house. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Wait,
I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes. It's got 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. The cast is insane.
John Candy is a crazy person, so it makes sense.
Demi Moore, fucking Chevy Chase, and John Candy all in the same movie with Digital Underground.
Hold on.
They are very high on drugs.
K-Dot, got a question for you.
Yeah.
Is that all gray hair on your beard? Or
right
did
here?
you like
other side?
And then on the other side.
Yeah.
Or did you like just put like whipped cream on your face or something?
Fuck you. That's just how it naturally comes in.
I got grays everywhere. You just can't see them.
I wish it was more of a unified look, but no, I have like a patch of gray and a patch of gray. At least they're symmetrical.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Also, somebody told me the other day they were jealous that I don't have hair naturally grow here. And I was like, okay.
I mean, you kind of, whatever.
I can just foresee you in like 20 years being like fully gray and actually being able to convince people that you're wise. You just sit there in like a cloak and preach.
I'm gonna
all right.
Give
So
you this finger with the brain.
the first thing I want to do is bring up the fact that there might be a pod war that's coming. ASOS versus District Divided.
They got more people.
You said what? Oh no. I saw your last guest appearance. Yeah, I said guest appearance on the other pod. This is your main one.
I didn't know I was getting treated like fucking property right now, which makes me want to burn all of them to the ground.
Fuck's sake. All right, you know what? Fuck it. We're scrapping that one.
No, why are we scrapping what?
We're scrapping it.
Look, at the end of the day, there are two podcasts that I do that I spent a lot of time prepping and getting involved for.
They said that they want to come on. So we can have
Matt Regan would love to stab Amit in the back and come over to this podcast. There's no doubt in my
just
mind.
let it be in like a rolling chair.
I'm cool with having some. I'm cool with crossover. I mean, I'm doing them both anyway. And look, both
over.
of you guys are just stepping stones for where I want to be. So,
See, this is that bullshit ass narrative that's gonna come up, and people be like, "Yeah."
Why do you think I'm releasing Soto videos? This is Vegas is mine,
hey,
bitch.
That was another comment. It's like, oh, yeah, this is great. Like, you guys are all great, but K-Dot, man, it's like, man, fuck you.
You know star power when you see it, baby. I'm just saying. I'm joking. I don't have anywhere near that level of confidence in anything I'm doing right now. I'm just having fun. But I talk too much. And if people are willing to have me do shit, I'll do it. That's it.
You're doing great, but fuck you. All
Thank
right,
you.
So,
on both accords.
The biggest news that happened the past week. We weren't able to do an emergency pod. That's my fault. So, blame me. Whatever.
Okay.
Is the rise and fall of the European Super League. All this shit happened between pods. So, span of like what 48 hours.
It was
nuts.
I have so many problematic things that I could compare it to. It was kind of like the War of the Roses, where it lasted like 4 seconds. So what happened was a lot of very B League teams and like 2 A League teams in Europe decided that they're done fucking with FIFA and UEFA because they're a corrupt bunch of fucks, as we all have waxed on before. They're like, we're going to break off, start our own league. We're going to give more funding to the teams that win. We're going to give more funding to the kids leagues and the under leagues and the women's leagues. And basically FIFA said, all right, can't play in the World Cup. You can't play for your home teams anymore. And you can't play in Europe.
All right.
Sorry.
So each founding, so it's 20 teams with 15 founding members. And like 5 rotational teams that are determined based on their domestic progress for the previous year.
Right.
And each founding club was guaranteed, what was it, 130 to 213 million euros per
Yep.
year. And of course, JP Morgan was a part of this. They were the big like backer of the European Super League. They're
Shout
part
out
of
to
a lot
Jamie
of shady
Dimon.
shit.
Sorry.
They're a part of a lot of shady shit, as we all know.
JP Morgan,
Yeah.
it's like they were part of like all those mortgage-backed securities like 15 years ago that put us all back into the dark ages economically. Anyway,
Well, JP Morgan was, of the banks, they weren't as bad as some of the others. I'm just saying.
Didn't they have the boat?
They had the most, but they had to take most of the TARP money.
I
You know
said
what
the
I'm
boat.
the bo- A lot of them had boats, and I got friends that work
The
for
cocaine
JP.
boat.
Yes, leave them alone, okay?
Okay.
how else are we gonna get our drugs? Come on.
But actually, as you said, what's playing in the background right now is Too Big to Fail. I watch it like once a month. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's oh my. Anyway, continue.
All right. So apparently there's a 130 million euro withdrawal fee. There's different reports. Like someone said that Chelsea had to pay 260, but neither here nor there. Perez came out. Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, who's also like the head of the council for the Super League or whatever. He came out and said that no team is actually withdrawn because they all signed binding contracts. It's just on hold for now as they adjust. The only two teams that I've heard that hasn't like officially requested the withdrawal was Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Right.
Barca put like a how do you call it, like a weak ass like excuse saying like, hey, we haven't officially joined yet because it depends on like the signatures of like the supporters or some shit like that. So
Yeah, because
whatever.
the club's owned by
Yeah,
the
the
people.
supporters. Yeah. So
I mean, and that was the thing. So within 24 hours of them announcing this, basically the fans rioted. They gathered outside their respective stadiums, broke into their respective stadiums, basically told the owners, "Go fuck yourself. This is ridiculous." And I'm not a originalist, or I don't care. Like in baseball, if they want to put a man on second for extra innings, I'm okay with that. This is one of those where I was like, this is how the competition's built for a reason. We might not like UEFA very much. And I thought it was pretty interesting that the ESL was going to fork up $400 billion for, all these leagues. And then UEFA was like, we don't have that kind of money. And then ESL came along. They're like, oh, we found the money. Here you go. I mean, they're a corrupt, power-hungry organization. And I think that they're terrible. And they're bad for the sport. But this wasn't the way to go about it.
And I do want to add something, Ryan. So
it was an attempt to take power from UEFA, but it would have also diluted the sport, like diluted it down to 15 teams. And it's the sport's for the fans, and that means even if you're a fourth league team fan in fucking Austria, you still have a chance to go play, with the big dogs in Paris. And that's part of the fun of being a fan. And they were trying to take that away. And I think that's pretty shitty.
I do want to bring something up. So when I know you and I are both against the league, right?
Right.
Just on the basis of the football pyramid in itself. We can get into that a little bit later. But when this first came up and I was talking to K-Dot about it, he wasn't necessarily against the idea. You remember?
Yeah, I'm not at all against the idea.
I'm not against the idea.
I want K-Dot to explain his thought process as to why he wasn't upset in regards to this format happening. And then we can explain to him like why we think it's wrong.
Okay. Look, when I first hear it happening, what I'm hearing is a lot of, and once again, I'm an American who doesn't watch that much soccer, right? But when I'm hearing it, it almost sounds like they're just building an NBA or an NFL over there, which is like the cream of the crop, the best teams, the best talent. the most money is going to be involved with this thing, but it doesn't necessarily take away from other people being able to continue to play. The way that I almost felt about it, Brendan had to call me and talk to me on like 3 different occasions to try to get me to understand what the fuck is going on. And the more he was explaining, the more I'm like, all right, there are certain rules that probably need to get fleshed out a little bit better. There's certain regulations need to get fleshed out a little bit better, but I love the idea. And the reason I really love the idea, do you know how many soccer leagues there are in England? Not the UK, just England.
5.
160.
Are you talking about professional?
Just leagues, period, as far as soccer, right? As a person, as an American that turns on or listens to you guys talk about soccer, and I hear Champions League, which isn't actually a league, it's just a tournament. You hear all these other fucking competitions or cups or everything else that just make it so confusing as to know what the fuck am I watching or what it is that I'm supposed to be rooting for. There's just so much all over the place. The way that I almost distribute it to is kind of like the NCAA, where you have D2, D1, National Championship, blah, blah, blah. If I go to Norfolk State University, I go to Norfolk State University understanding and acknowledging that my team's not going to play for the national championship. Doesn't make me love my team any less. It just means, look, we don't have the same talent they do. Now, maybe if we sustain a certain amount of talent to then go and play with the big dogs, maybe we can get there. But until that point, they can't. And everybody that I keep hearing about, well, it's going to destroy the smaller teams because the bigger teams are just going to buy out the players. Don't they already do that? Isn't there already, you have teams that have a lot of money and they go and try to find the next teenager phenom or anything that they're already paying them? So to me, it almost feels like all of this complaining is just a fear of missing out. But you have these teams you have these people that have rooted for these teams for 100 years and they don't want it to change. And I'm like, look, if you could tell me I'm getting the cream of the cream soccer, the same reason I watch women's national soccer in America more than I watch men's soccer in America, if you're telling me I could turn this on and I know I'm seeing the best, and it's going to be the best players, and they're going to have the most money behind it and everything, it makes it at least a lot easier digestible to me to watch the product. And I still don't think that by them doing it doesn't kill the rest of the clubs. I just think you'll know when you're watching, I'm watching an inferior product to what this product is. I just think that it's just being real about it. And I think regardless if they cancel it right now, I think it's just to work out all the numbers. It's too good an idea not to continue with. It's not the end of it by any means, because I just think it's inevitable. It's inevitable at this point.
All right. So, Ryan, do you want to respond to K first, or if you want, I got a couple points.
So I understand what you're saying. So the difference is, so you have your cream of the crop league in each country. So in England, it's the Premier League, and the top or the bottom 3 teams at the end of the season go down to the second league, to the NCAA 2 league, and the top 3 from the NCAA 2 league come up to the Prem, so they get their shot. What you're talking about of having the cream of the crop play the cream of the crop, that's the whole point of the Champions League. So the best teams in each league qualify for the Champions League. So even if you don't get first in your league, you have the opportunity the next season to go then play the best teams in France, the best teams in Germany, and they all get together and they play for the cup. That means you are the best team in the world.
It's not a league, it's just a tournament.
Right. I don't know why they call it Champions League. I don't understand that. It should just be, I guess, because you can only enter this league if you are the best, but it should.
Is there a lot of parity with the Champions League? Is there a lot of turnover from year to year every time they play?
Yeah. So Arsenal was in it for 20 years every year because they were the best. We haven't been in it in 8. And every year there's like a team, like they have like the best team from every country in some countries, and then 4 from England. It goes up and down depending on how good your team is in the Champions League. So like if your country sucks in the Champions League, you lose a spot, it goes to some other country. And that happens every year. So, I mean, obviously Barcelona's in it every fucking year. Real Madrid's in it every year, but that's because they're the best. They're the best in the world.
How many teams play in the Champions League?
64 start, right?
No, I thought it was 32.
Isn't there a round of 64 and then 32? Given how many teams are in Europe, not very many.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
All right. So my response, K-Dot, is the main issue for me outside of the football pyramid aspect of it,
You're
would
correct,
be
it
the
is
fact
36.
that with the Super League format, it's 20 clubs. They rotate 5 out like each year, and the 15 founding members are permanent. They can never be relegated.
No,
Right
that's right.
now, there's a couple issues that come up with that. So if you have the top 15 clubs, right, that play in this tournament, at one point, at some point in time within the next 5 years, those big clubs are going to become small clubs in this tournament because they're never going to win.
I disagree.
No.
The reason I disagree with it is that if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, right? Even if, like in the NFL, you might have a team that sucks. If you got a small enough pool, people are still going to watch. There's enough revenue that's shared.
That's not
You're
what I'm
never going
talking
to be
about.
low.
That's not what I'm talking about.
But my thing is that the 15 teams that they're talking about being the permanent members, right? You say they're the big clubs. Are they the clubs that are worth the most money usually?
All these clubs are worth a shit ton of money.
So,
Yes.
right.
But that's not what I'm not discussing business here.
Okay.
I'm talking about in terms of the game. Business wise, you're right. But this is not about business. This is football. This is about the sport. Like this is why people are pissed off, because it's not about business. Like business wise, yes, the clubs are guaranteed to make way more.
They go
money.
hand in hand though. Because
they don't.
It's the same thing with the NFL. If the NFL exists compared to the XFL that exists, and they can both pay players, right? Why do I go if I'm a certain talent level to the XFL or the NFL? I wouldn't. So if there's a smaller pool of teams, then my thought process is that those teams are always going to try to get, and to be able to get the talent, there's always going to be the best. So regardless, even if they're coming up
against UEFA, they're not able to do like UEFA. Like when this whole shit came up, UEFA's like, all right, we're banning all of the players that play for any of these teams from participating for their national teams, so they can't play in the World Cup or any shit like that. They like there's talk of them not being able to play for any other team that's not in the Super League.
Right. They want to make it exclusive for the best players to say that we care about the money more than we care about anything else. And if you care about the money more than you care about anything else, like every other damn near professional athlete, then what are you going to do? You're going to go to the place that's going to pay you the big bucks. So does that mean the World Cup could suffer? Yeah. Does that mean that all the other leagues are going to suffer? Yeah. It's the same thing we're talking about with the NCAA. If you've got an opportunity to be a player to go play for a college, you can play for the tradition, this, that, and the other. Or you could say, hey, I'm going to give you $500,000 to go play for this league over in Australia.
College is different than your country.
College is not different than the country depending on what it is that you give your own weight to. As a black man, do you think I really give that much weight to America in a lot of circumstances when we're talking about national?
If you talk to any of the top players in terms of playing for their country, that's more important than playing for a club that they might not be at for more than 5 years at a time.
Do majority of the biggest players play for the?
Yes.
Play for their professional, turn down bigger money to play for a professional team in a country that's outside of their origin because they know that they can come back for the World Cup. Now, if they said that, if those clubs said, hey, if you come and play, if you're from Spain and you come and play for us for England, we told you if you sign with our English team, it's going to pay you twice as much as our Spain team is going to play you, but you can't play in the World Cup. I think that there's going to be a lot more players that say, well, that sucks, but I'm going to go make this more money to go do this thing. I think that when push comes to shove, like in every other league, in every other sport, that's what happens. And I think right now people are holding on to tradition and circumstance compared to what this is, which is a sport. I give credit for Europeans. Look, if this shit happened in America, I'd be the first one to say, Americans, roll the fuck over. Don't you dare fuck with the Europeans on shit because they'll burn the whole fucking place down. I wish we had that much fucking that much bravery when it comes to shit like that. Americans are lazy overall.
If you ask the top players, would they rather win the Champions League with their team or win a World Cup? They're gonna pick a World Cup.
Not if that means you're not gonna make any money.
And here's the issue with the Super League is they should have ironed all this shit out to begin with.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's like locked in the boardroom, just making decisions.
Yeah, and that was the issue. They're like, this is secretive. We're not going to tell anybody. And then everybody was shocked when it blew up in their face. Like, no,
Yeah.
like
and they did the announcement in the middle of COVID, which is stupid.
And the middle of the fucking night.
I do want to add something else.
And
K-Dot.
a lot of the owners are American.
Hey, when I heard St. Kirky's involved, this is why I'm like, am I on the right side of this thing?
And the owner of Boston.
K-Dot. One
Red
of the
Sox.
most important parts of the Champions League is the fact that you have the big teams play each other, right? But it is not as if these big teams play each other every week. That is like, you get to play like Barcelona versus Bayern Munich happens maybe once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. Those are two huge fan bases that like, all right, let's see if our team is better than your team this year, right? It's not going to mean as much if I'm playing Bayern every fucking week. You feel more, you feel more towards a game when it's like, all right, I would much rather, I feel more towards a game if it's like Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, because they're in our league, when I play them than if I play Bayern, if it was every week. I don't give a shit about Bayern. There's no history there. Like, there is some history, but you know what I mean? Not as much as Real Madrid. Not as much as Real Madrid. Man, fuck
I think what you're also doing is you're downplaying the idea of new rivalries and new traditions that can occur when something changes.
And look, I'm not opposed to a Super League type format. I was opposed mostly to the attempted implementation of the ESL, where you're basically forcing the fans and the players into a format without asking them, without
travel
planning.
Agreed.
Yeah,
that to me is an issue.
Can't do it.
And
that to me is an issue.
And the reason that is such an issue is because there's only the owners are about making money. Obviously, that's all they're doing. And this looked like a great way to make some more money. Mm-hmm. But they only make money if the fans go to the games. They only make money if idiots like me in the States spend money on their fucking packages. Mm-hmm. That there's a reason that NBC Sports now owns the rights in the US for the Prem. It's because they have a ton of fans here and they're making a fuck ton of money. If I turn that off and they don't get their viewership, they're not making money. They took none of that into account. And now there's some people without a job.
Now, Ryan, what is your thought on the aspect of the effects of the football pyramid? Like, so what do you think about that?
Like, in terms of the ownerships?
No, I'm saying the Super League, if the Super League is implemented, how is that going to affect the football pyramid?
In terms of what?
You know what I mean? Like, the big teams there pay like the smaller clubs. All the smaller clubs aren't going to survive if those big teams aren't there. Do you agree or disagree?
I would think, look, there's a lot of smaller clubs that go bankrupt every fucking year. Mm-hmm. And I know COVID definitely hurt them because a lot of like the tier 3, tier 4 teams only serve. They had that one guy who was eating a fucking pie. The goalkeeper was eating a pie on the sidelines.
That was funny. That was
like in the middle of the game. But yes, it would get rid of a lot of the smaller clubs. But here's the issue. Going back to my original issue with the ESL is this should have all been planned out. Like, a lot of those teams have like a 16-year-old who is going to play in the second division, who's eventually going to get his chance somewhere in Europe. That's just how it happens. There are players in the MLS that get their chance in Europe. Shocking. Which there's better second league teams in Europe than the entirety of the MLS. That being said, they should have had it all planned out and mapped out so that all the fans didn't freak out. If you told me that, I don't know, Nottingham Forest, that we are going to get $1 million or 1.5 million euro if the ESL happened, because there's going to be a trickle down effect where they want to support.
That's what I wanted to happen.
Yeah, I would be thrilled and I would be behind that. And if I was told, hey, if Nottingham Forest wins their league, they get into a playoff whereby they might be able to enter the ESL to have a chance at 200 million euros. Fuck yeah. Do you know what 200 million euros would do to a tier 3 club? They'd get fucking Eden Hazard and they'd run away with it.
And I think that's my thing is that I think that I come out on the side of where you probably are the most part, Ryan, on this is that I think the Super League is a good idea. I think what they were talking about as far as implementation had a lot of fucking issues. And I think there's a lot of going back to the drawing board, but this is not over.
Right, but the problem is this has left such a sour taste in so many people's mouths. If they had done it the right way, even if it didn't work out, at least I would have been like,
come back.
All right, this was moving the Colts in the middle of the night kind of bullshit. Like this was a clear like power grab, backstabby,
cash grab.
And here's the issue, because now when they bring this up in, first of all, it's going to take a lot longer until we forget about it. Although I forget about things like in 5 minutes. So it'll be 5 years until they're even able to talk about it again, probably. And then they got to go back and be like, well, we know we fucked up the first time, but here's try number 2 instead of for try number 1 actually being a legitimate
To me, it's
attempt.
all going to be about the talent. It's whether or not you can get enough players behind what it is you're doing.
Right.
The talent level.
But they didn't even try.
That to me is that's inexcusable. But if you're going to do it again, and you're going to come correct with it, the player involvement, number 1, is to making sure the talent level is where it is. Look, don't get it twisted for me. I'm damn near a communist, right? But there's I do mark the difference between an Olympic sport where everybody's doing it for national pride because there's no monetary reward for it, compared to when you're getting paid handsome sums of money. It's fucking for profit. It's a business. Regardless of whatever it is we share over it with our fandom, which I've talked about time and time again, how stupid fandom is, right? Because we're all just fucking dollars and cents in these goddamn organizations and what it is they're making or not making. It's just a bottom line. So if they have an opportunity to make more money and they're going to increase fandom, fuck yeah, do it 100 times out of 100. What I want to do is see capitalism kind of thrive in that way, of maybe an alternative, or maybe you have a league that makes some other things more streamlined. Maybe if you have a league that says, hey, if these guys are going to go after the best of talent, maybe we're going to go more when it comes to tradition aspect of things. Maybe we're going to make sure that we're doing the best we can as far as farming, so we can create a system for some of these other teams to come down and get players from us. To me, there's a capitalistic way in business where you can say, all right, something opens up and there's an opportunity for something. And I think that people need to be more open-minded in that sense when it comes to this.
Look.
What do you mean by farming?
I am open-minded.
Kind of the way you were saying as far as the pyramid system.
Like Moneyball
currently. The way that you were saying the pyramid system works currently, where you have certain clubs will pay to basically create farm systems for some of these other clubs if they know that some of the talent's going to come their way. Is that basically what you explained? Is that
yeah, all right, go ahead.
Right. Exactly, so what I'm saying is, if you have a super league a la the NBA, that can look at something like a development league, like the G League, and saying, hey, let's put these teams in towns that don't have a big team, that want to see some athletes play, and then maybe they can become fans of some of these players that will make it on one of the Super League teams. Oh, wow, there's an opportunity for some money to be involved to kick some of these other clubs to become farm system for the big thing. I'm just saying, if everybody's being so closed off to what the Super League is, instead of looking at all the opportunities it could grow, and how, in my mind, is just making it more simple for other people to get involved.
It's
that's already a thing.
It's kind of like the difference between going to a bar, right? And you sitting down at the bar, there's a good-looking lady next to you, and you're like, oh, okay, and you guys get into small talk, have a little conversation, then maybe you buy her a drink, and then you see where things go. What the ESL did is they turned the lights off and just were like, I'm taking whatever I want, I'm leaving. It doesn't work. It doesn't look good.
I don't
feel good about it
at all. But okay,
it was not consensual. None of this was consensual.
Talking about the ESL.
Nobody else was involved,
Ryan,
in the decision-making processes.
Now, with all the bullshit that happened with the Super League, the UCL revealed its own format changes, trying to, I guess, throw that under the rug. But a lot of players are upset with that as well.
I missed this story. So
you did?
Tell me.
Yeah. So they just revamped the Champions League. It's supposed to happen, I think, in 2024, 2025. Okay. So they're adding 4 teams. So I think it goes from 32 to 36.
Okay.
There's no group stage.
Okay.
So it's just one big pool of just teams.
I like that.
Instead of 6 games, now they're playing 10. And you're not playing the same team twice. So it's just 5 games home and away. against like random teams.
Oh, so they're getting rid of
Yeah.
home and away goals?
I don't know. So no, probably not. So the top 8 teams out of that, they automatically go through to the round of 16. But
Okay.
teams 9 through 17 get seeds, like an NCAA tournament, and then they play, like what was it? Team 17 through 24. And then that's like in a playoff, like home and away leg in a playoff for that. For the last 8 spots, and it's a 2-legged affair. A lot of players are pissed off about this as well.
I don't care. I like it.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, this is the thing. That is minuscule. They're like, hey, we need to change up the way that we're doing this. One, because it's too many games in too short of a period, obviously. And you got players getting hurt all the time trying to play domestic, and then
so they decided to add twice as many games.
Yeah, but not everybody's playing those games, right?
Yeah, like the first aspect of it, they're all playing 10 instead of 6.
So if you make it to the final stage in Champions League and you started with the play-in games, you're playing like 12 games, right?
Yeah.
Because it's home and away, home and away, home and away, and then single elimination. No, and then home and away anyway.
No, so if you start in the play-in games, you automatically play the 10. And then if you're on the outskirts or whatever, and you got to do the play-in game or whatever, then that's another 4.
Okay.
And then you got to
I thought you said there were 10 total.
No.
Okay. I mean,
like the group stage used to be 6.
Now it's
10.
Are the players pissed because they're playing more or playing too much?
Yeah.
Okay, that I can see. Look, but this change to me as a fan
is nothing compared to Super League, which is why I think they rolled it out.
Right. I think, look, I don't know. This is clearly because we want more eyes, more money for more games. I obviously. But if it makes her a better product,
does it?
I don't know. We don't know because we haven't seen it, but I'm hoping it does. I like single elimination. I really hate the home and home stuff.
Well, they're still doing that.
Well, I mean, for the play it like the group stages, you play every
group
team.
Stage is not right.
Yeah, you play every team twice, like single elimination.
Not anymore though.
Like, and I like that.
But it's not like eliminations though. That's the thing. So
it's whoever picks up the most points. So you get the actual.
It's like a league.
You get the actual best teams instead of the team that won, their group stage because they got pulled into the right teams.
Right.
Like you got the league or the group of death. That's going to be gone. So you'll actually be getting the best teams playing at the end of this, right? Is that what we're saying?
Well, I mean, you would hope so.
Or the best teams in this grouping. Like if it's fucking, Shakhtar Donetsk wins all their games, guess what? You get in.
Yeah, but if they're playing all like Red Bull Leipzig in Austria, like, you know what I mean? Compared
Leipzig's a good team.
Which one?
Red Bull.
The one that's in Austria or Bundesliga?
The one that's in Austria is a good team.
Oh.
If it's change to soccer,
I know him, so
All right.
If it's change to soccer, I'm for it. And this has gone entirely too long as far as soccer talk goes. But
no, it doesn't. But I'm good. No, I'm good. There's another topic that we're gonna get to.
Oh my god. Can I say something at least? I just want to say something.
Why?
Because I'm sitting here with my fucking twiddling my dick in my hand. Understanding
you do that every time we talk about soccer.
Because I'm like, here's the thing. The more I'm stewing about the soccer thing is the more that I realize how much I hate fandom in sports and how much soccer fans have their entire identity wrapped up in what fucking club they were in. And because it's ultimate stupidity as far as fucking soccer shit. Look at that dumb. It's just dumb. It's fucking stupid. God damn it. This is just why every change happens in soccer. It's like somebody, oh my god, you can't change it. You can't change it.
Right. Well, we'll talk about your guy Tom Brady. And
I don't care about
changes.
I don't care about the UCL changing.
That was stupid.
It's actually not stupid.
Now I'm talking about Tom Brady crying about numbers.
Tom Brady has a very good point.
Agreed.
Let's just all wear just colored jerseys.
Yeah,
All
but
right. So let's get to the last, like United, the last or one of the last soccer topics. Ed Woodward resigned as what was he? The chairman or something of Manchester United because
yeah,
he was against the Super League, and like I guess he found out like a couple hours beforehand. He's like, "Nah, fuck this."
yeah, you did the right thing.
Mhm. But I've, when it was first announced, like all the United fans was like, "Hell yes, he's out!" Like, because I guess they hate him. Have you heard that too?
Yeah, but he's a man of principle, and there's nothing I respect more, even if I disagree with your principles, than if if someone does something that you think is bad for your club or your company.
Mhm.
Don't be involved. You know what the best show of strength is to tell them to go fuck themselves and walk out.
All right.
And I guarantee you 5 years from now, when he looks back at that decision, he'll be like, told you so.
Now, let's talk about the last thing in regards to United. Ryan Giggs has been charged with assaulting 2 women. He's currently the head coach of the Wales national team, but he's going to be out. Um, he's already not coaching. I think the Euros, um, and I don't think this is the first time that we've heard some foul shit about him, right?
I mean, I don't know enough about this particular. I read the article. Again, when people are charged with something, I need a lot more.
I thought he was also charged with. Hold on, no, I'm not going to do that. Go ahead, keep talking.
I always like to reserve. Like, I hate Giggsy as a player because he played for United. It's like this is for UK dot. This would be like if he was a star for the Dallas Cowboys during their heyday. I hate it. Yeah, fucking. He was an absolute star, but as a person, I don't know enough about this. I know he was like kind of Green Street hooligan-y back in the day. He used to fight and headbutt people a lot, which is respectable.
Did Vinnie Jones play for Manchester United?
Vinnie Jones played for, I think, a second-tier team and still maintains the fastest red card of all time.
That's my guy.
Yeah, before the whistle blew, he ran across and headbutted the guy and got an immediate red card.
That's my guy.
I mean, he looks like he is that guy. He should have been playing rugby.
Oh, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is my favorite movie.
Oh man, him and his kid is Jesus. And how great is that? Like, obviously, you're too violent of a human to play soccer. So, how about a successful acting career for you?
Right? It's a pretty good. I mean, I think it's an upgrade.
Oh, it's definite upgrade.
A huge upgrade.
He needed to be behind the screen.
All right, so apparently he's been doing a lot of wild shit. All right, so
he's a
Vinnie
wild
Jones,
guy, but
amazing.
I'm just gonna reserve comment until we have more, because for these things, it's really touch and go.
It was the same thing in I guess like November. That's when like one of the first stories I guess came out in regards to it.
Right, but still,
and he's been charged as of this week.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
Gonna reserve comment until I see more. Hate him as a player, but as a person, I'm gonna, innocent until proven guilty. So I need to see more of it. But if anybody had to go to jail, wouldn't mind for it to be Giggsy.
All right, so let's move on to a different type of football.
Although I like Wales as a national team.
No,
I feel like the Welsh don't get enough respect.
they're not winning anything.
I love Aaron Ramsey. He's Welsh.
Of course,
so is Gareth Bale. Love that guy.
Yeah, plays golf all the time.
Do you remember Aaron Carter?
Yeah.
We're not talking about fuck. All right, no.
He has an
Wait.
OnlyFans.
So we're
Really?
We're gonna move on to fucking football. K-Dot, don't do this shit.
Is it like a nude OnlyFans? Sorry,
It's the bullshit
really?
I'm talking about.
Aaron Carter, isn't he like 40?
And apparently, if you FaceTime because he posts his phone number, he'll actually pick up.
Did you guys see that?
Let's see how long this bullshit takes.
Hold on. No, this is a good segue.
You laughing, K-Dot? I told you.
God damn it! Name off very famous Houston rappers. Not Bun B.
Scarface.
No, really tall dude.
Slim
Guys.
Thug.
Huh?
Slim Thug.
I'm not.
Yeah, Slim
I'm
Thug.
not-
Slim Thug
Fuck's sake,
called,
man. Jesus fucking Christ.
he called Mike Jones's number from the song, and Mike Jones picked up. That's awesome. Anyway, continue.
NFL draft preview. Do you guys have the fucking picks that you guys think your team is going to make?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the first? What team picks first? I think
I
we
know
got
it's
17.
Jacksonville.
No, between us. I think I have 17. What do you have, K-Dot?
19.
30.
All right, so we pick first. I think with all the shit that happened, I know we signed Carl Joseph, but we didn't sign him to play free safety. We signed him to be an insurance policy for Jonathan Abram because he can't stay healthy. I think we should pick up the safety out of TCU, Trayvon Moreg. I think that's how you pronounce it. He'll play free safety. I feel like he can make an instant impact of the team. All the other shit that people are talking about, there's still free agents we can pick up. I want to pick up the right tackle from the Chiefs. That's a free agent. I know the Chiefs just traded for a tackle from Baltimore, Orlando Brown, but he wants to play left tackle. So that is the other left tackle they have as a free agent. So whatever. We don't need a left tackle. We need a right tackle. So I want to pick up Mitchell Schwartz. I think that's his name. So if we pick him up, I'm fine with the team. We just need a free safety. He should be there at 17, and I would be happy with that.
Well, I think Schwartz was an insider. Was an inside on the line. He's
Right tackle.
Right tackle. Makes sense.
The Chiefs were missing both the tackles in the Super Bowl. That's why Mahomes got fucked up. All right, K-Dot, you're next.
Which would lead me to believe that they'd be hesitant to get rid of any of their tackles because if they're going to make another run.
They're all free agents, but they're at this point, teams are just going to wait until after the draft to do any other deals. So
I would just say that they will be protecting their $500 million man. So they will probably load up on the offensive line, including backup offensive linemen, to ensure that what happened last year doesn't happen again.
I just say that Orlando Brown was something I wanted the Washington football team to go after hardcore because that dude, like offensive lineman, usually takes a few years for you to really get your feet wet and to really get into it. And I think the sky is the limit for that kid. And if you pair him up with it, you know that you got somebody protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side for basically the entire length of his contract. Woo! That's a good fucking pickup. I understand mortgaging a lot for it. So Washington, my football team. I like this. I like the ring. Like Washington, my football team. They picked 19 in the draft. And there's been a lot of like crazy stuff happening as far as whether or not we're going to go quarterback. I saw somebody on NFL or ESPN said that we're going to go running back number 1, which I would fucking lose my shit. But there are quite a few needs that the team has on offensive line, especially on defense. But there are 2 positions in particular that I'm focused on, which is linebacker and offensive line. So I want to break them down into 2 different categories. I'm going to start with linebacker and I'll go to offensive line. Linebacker, I'm looking at 3 guys in particular. Number 1, if he falls to us, is Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State. Well, here's the thing. The thing with Parsons right now is that there's had the stories that came out about what happened in Penn State back right before the whole COVID incident and everything went on. So he skipped the 2020 season because of COVID concerns, or it might be because of all the legal shit that was happening. But what ended up happening was they had a player, Isaiah Humphries. Apparently they were hazing, if you believe the reports entirely too much. In the pre-show, I said that I was going to say something about nuts on asses. Apparently, that's one of the things he says happened, is that they would rub their penises on his ass, which is just, I don't understand. In around. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what form of hazing that is. I don't want to believe it's true. It's just fucking weird, especially you talk about Jerry Sandusky and everything with Penn State. That being said, Micah Parsons, I don't know his involvement in anything because it didn't look criminal as much as they were done with civil suits that I was seeing pull up with it. But you talk about 2019, as a freshman, he led the team in tackles. The first thing the Penn State linebacker has ever done. And Penn State is known back as linebackers, your fucking university. He also wears number 11 like LeVar Arrington did. Love that dude. Wish he could come back and do all kinds of shit. His sophomore year, 109 tackles, 5 sacks, 3 deflected passes, 3 forced fumbles, was the Butkus linebacker of the year. Huh?
3 what?
3 deflected passes.
Okay. You said it too fast.
Oh, how about I talk about rapping again and get you upset? Butkus Fitzgerald, linebacker of the year, and a consensus All-American. Also, he was defensive MVP in the Cotton Bowl. 14 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in 1 fucking game. Boy can ball. Outside of that, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame.
Yep.
And then Jamin Davis, linebacker, Kentucky. You can see I'm more up on Micah Parsons than any of them. The more and more you hear when you're getting closer to the draft, you get one of those two guys that look like they're going to fall. He looks like he might fall, especially we're looking at 5 quarterbacks, but might get drafted before Washington even picks up the fucking phone to make their pick. I just think a lot of weird things could happen in this draft. And if we're looking at offensive line, number 1 on that list, Virginia Tech, born and bred, Christian Darrisaw, who's a local kid. He went to Riverside Baptist in Upper Marlboro for high school. Dude, I think he can play really well. I mean, in the picks as far as offensive tackles, you're hearing a lot. Penny Sewell, Rashawn Sewell, and Vera Tucker from USC.
Sewell might go top 5, right?
Sewell is looking like he's been the guy. I mean, he was protected Justin Herbert, had a lot of tape. Dude's just a monster.
He'd probably go to the Giants, maybe.
So I think Darrisaw is one of those guys that can actually kind of slip through the cracks just a little bit, and maybe we're lucky enough to pick him up. And then there's my favorite guy in the entire draft, which is Tevin Jenkins, the offensive lineman out of Oklahoma State. The boy just got a fucking attitude, and I love that shit. The same thing when you had Brandon Sheriff that came to us. You just hear this dude is just an all-around angry, mean fucking offensive lineman. When I hear that shit and the stories are being told about that, those usually can't miss kind of prospects. And that to me is what I look for as far as that mentality. If I'm really looking at that list, the Micah Parsons thing I think is the most talented guy on that list by far. He's one of the most talented guys in the draft. But I also worry about those off-the-field concerns being something that just scares Ron Rivera completely off of him.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, what pick do y'all have, and who do you think you're going to get?
So the Bills have the 30th pick in the draft, which is shocking because last year we did not have a first-round pick, so I'm just happy to be here, guys. So last year, first round, we picked up Epeneza, who is a defensive end. He's a great player. The problem is that our defensive line left much to be, our defense in general left much to be desired last year. So I think the smart pick would be to get somebody on the other end of the defensive line. For the Bills, there are 2 picks. I watched a bunch of tape because I was like, man, we need to win this year or next year. This is our window of opportunity with Mr. Allen before we have to pay him $5 billion. So there's Greg Rousseau out of Miami, who played in 2019 and opted out for COVID last year. But during the last year that he played, he had 20 tackles for loss and 15 and a half sacks. That's the kind of pressure we need on our defensive line. There's also the kid out of Washington, Joe Tyron, another really talented defensive end. I think if we pair somebody up with Epeneza, you can't run either way. And I think that'll help, especially because we play a lot of quarterbacks who are mobile. If we don't get a defensive end, and these are my picks, they're good picks, but they're just the picks that in my heart I would want. Star cornerback. We do need people at the cornerback position. Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. Kid's a fucking beast. And for some reason, Virginia Tech players love to go play for the Bills. And then if we really want to go outside of the box, I know we have Devin Singletary. Zach Moss has been oft injured. He barely played a fucking game. If Travis Etienne falls to spot 30 and we can get a top 5 running back to pair with Josh Allen, it doesn't really matter if our defense can stop the opponents because we'll score 50 points a game. So that would be my flyer pick if we don't end up getting a defensive end, because you can get a really good defensive end like round 3, round 4.
I have a question though.
But
like, what about when did y'all pick Zach Moss and Singletary?
Singletary was 2018. Singletary was 2019. Zach Moss was last year.
Were they both first rounders or no?
Devin Singletary was the 3rd pick in the draft.
Oh, your right. 3rd draft pick, not the number 3.
No, he was first round.
Oh shit.
Devin Singletary was a 3rd round pick.
3rd round pick?
Yes.
Oh, well then I read that wrong. And then Zach Moss was last year, but he barely played and then he broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Like he had the knee thing and then the ankle thing.
Zach Moss also a 3rd-round pick.
Also, Etienne is was one of my favorite players to watch. So
what about the dude from Alabama, Najee Harris? Do you think y'all would move up to get him?
I don't think the Bills are moving up to get an offensive player. If they move up, they will be moving up to get a defensive player.
Okay.
Because that was clearly our issue last year. That and Josh Allen scrambling for too long because nobody can take him down. Until you get to the playoffs and you play the Chiefs. They got some big bodies. But yeah, I would be happy if we picked up a really good defensive player or an all-star offensive player. Our team's pretty solid. It needs some defensive work, but there's not a whole lot of pieces we need to plug in to be really good again. So
I got y'all division being a lot tougher this year.
I mean, we got rid of our worst wide receiver to some stupid fucking team.
You didn't trade him. He was a free agent.
Yeah, he was dead weight. You know what you do with dead weight? Get rid of it.
You didn't get rid of it? All right, whatever.
All
right, so does anybody have a hot take?
John Brown.
Trevor,
Justin Fields going to be the best quarterback out of this draft.
I agree with that.
Who?
Justin Fields.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence is a bust. And I say bust in the full sense of knowing what the word entails and also knowing that I don't even enjoy the word bust. Because I've said time and time again on this podcast, there's a certain level at which you should build up a team before you get to go get a quarterback. I understand Jacksonville has some success with Gardner Minshew. You think probably it is a plug-and-play type thing. I think Gardner's better than people give him credit for, and I think Trevor goes in there. He's not going to do hell of a lot much better. I just think it's a terrible organization, and I think that they're not going to do what they need to do to make sure that he shines. So at the end of the day, he'll be a bust in my eyes. But I could be just as wrong as I was about LaMelo Ball.
Also,
nice tidbit.
I think I wouldn't be shocked if Urban Meyer does some Urban Meyer-y shit, and they don't end up getting Lawrence at 1.
I say end up doing Justin Fields at 1. Ohio State connection.
That would be nuts.
Or you trade the 1 pick for the 4 pick and pick up a 2nd rounder, some bullshit like that. I don't know, but I fully agree with you. I think Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. So why take him at 1? Why not get the 4th and like a 4th rounder or 3rd rounder or something? I don't know. Urban Meyer's smart motherfucker. He knows how to build teams for 2-year spurts of talent.
Oh.
I also got 5 quarterbacks going before pick.
Oh, yeah. 18. It's going to be such a sweet quarterback. And tight end heavy draft. Oh, I love a good tight end. Pause.
It's the only guy I'd be willing to trade up in the draft to go get.
Oh.
Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
That's also, I don't think it's a hot take. Kyle Pitts is the best player in the draft, and I don't think it's close.
Kyle Pitts. He'll leave you in the
I'll go further with my hot take. Kyle Pitts is a Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Depends on where he goes.
I don't care where he goes.
Kyle Pitts.
He's a matchup problem. And it's not saying the team's going to win a lot of games. I just think wherever he goes, he's going to be a safety valve for somebody, and he's going to rack up all kinds of fucking numbers. So fantasy-wise, I'm reaching for him.
Could you imagine putting him opposite the 3rd best tight end in the league right now in Washington? That would be crazy.
You guys piss me off with that shit.
We also have a Hall of Famer in Samus Reyes, the Chilean guy.
Who knows that?
Dude, that guy is
you don't even, all right. You remember
human.
What Reese said? Like, don't say shit just to, if you don't believe it. Because you don't believe that dude's a Hall of Famer.
He's built like one.
I do actually. And here's the thing. I think that, but I also am willing to admit.
Wait, how old is he?
22?
I mean, if he comes in and does what he needs to do.
He might be younger than 22. But here's my thing. Here's my justification for why I think he's a Hall of Famer. Number 1, it's complete Washington bias, so take it with a grain of salt. Number 2 is the fact that if you look at the success rate of tight ends that played basketball, which a lot of people think it's a lot more than what it actually is, it's not a lot. The guys that actually, the success rate is extremely high. So I'm just saying, if you're going to draw that translation, not to mention when he came to the States, he went down to Florida, I think Broward County, and them boys, I mean, I think it's just something in the water. If you touch the water down there, you might be able to just play some ball.
Also, I looked up the list. I don't have it in front of me, but the amount of players who never played football before that played basketball, they came in, were successful, tight ends and linebackers. And this dude is built like both.
He's the most athletic rating of any player ever.
His vert was stupid.
Right.
He was above the top of those little pencil shits.
That's the thing. Is like when people
he
say
was
he's like
above it.
He's a workout warrior. It's like, no, when you see the workout warriors, you can actually tell they don't necessarily have the full athleticism. He has the complete package. Like, it's just whether or not he could transition to the NFL is the big thing.
But he's been working on it for like a full dude. But look,
yeah,
but you're
I just
an
want to see
athlete.
him play a game.
Look,
I
it's
want to
like
see him play a game. I want to see him take a hit and get back up
Hey.
and go back to the huddle and run the same route with the same speed. That's all I want to see.
If you're an athlete, you're an athlete. Like Steph Curry's a garbage basketball player, but if you've seen him play golf, he's under par.
Okay.
Because
All
he's
right,
an athlete.
This? All right. No, we're going. All right. You know what? Fuck it. Since you said it, Ryan.
Hi.
Do you want to have an update in regards to your beef with Steph Curry? Do you still think he's trash?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I will give you my my update on why I think Steph Curry's trash.
Okay.
All right. So, as far as guards go in the league, if LeBron is a guard, he's the best. I would argue that Steph Curry is putting up legend. He plays like a guard, just like they put Zion in as a guard. He's a great guard.
Zion's not what?
Just let him hang himself. Just don't get in the way.
Okay.
My issue with Steph is that he puts up ridiculous numbers in losing efforts. His point, he's 30 points per game right now, a little bit over that, even though he had like 10 games of just ridiculous numbers points wise. They didn't win all those games. And then he came up in front of the juggernaut that is the Washington Wizards and their top-rated defense and couldn't put up 30 points or have a bunch of assists.
What do you have the game before that, though?
Did they win it?
Yeah, against Philly. At Philly.
What did he put up?
49
points? Okay.
Yeah, 49. Oh, you mad he didn't get 50?
I mean,
he had 10 threes.
If you have 3 assists, why aren't you getting 50 points?
He had 5.
My point is his game is one-dimensional. Is he one of the best shooters of all time? No doubt. I think he's a garbage player, though, because he takes 40 shots a game. He's got 2. He's averaging like 2.
Takes like 20.
He took 27 shots 2 nights ago.
Name their starting like 5. Name their starting 5.
I don't.
Exactly. Who else is going to shoot?
Russell Westbrook plays on a team with probably the same talent or worse talent and still averages a triple-double.
Bradley Beal.
And that team is winning. Bradley Beal injured like every other game this season.
No. All right.
What?
Go ahead. Continue. My bad. Go ahead. Keep going. Cook.
Look,
Ryan. Go ahead. Cook.
He is a one-dimensional player is my issue with him. He's a shooter. And that's all he's got going for him. And Draymond Green had like 2 points and like 18 assists. So I don't know. I don't know why he couldn't pass the ball. If Draymond can rack up assists, he had a double-double with rebounds and assists, 2 points. Probably mostly to Steph, but they lost.
Draymond doesn't shoot because he knows. All right, go ahead, K-Dot.
I'm just saying, if you
don't feed the troll. Let him continue. Let Ryan Chef cook. Are you still cooking, Ryan?
When Klay Thompson gets back next year, I guarantee you they still don't make the playoffs.
So if Ryan's done cooking up cyanide lace shit sandwiches, I have to ask the only question I care about. Do you really believe what you're saying?
I do.
That's it.
I think he's a shooter. He's got a one-dimensional game.
My thing is that, like, if the technology exists at the point at which you die, I'm going to put an LCD screen on your goddamn tombstone and play this on a loop. This is your legacy. And
I'm fine with it.
I know. And that's problematic in all kinds of ways. But I just want you to you got to hit rock bottom at some point. And I think the longer you continue this take, it'll come. It'll come.
I just want, what I want is for Seth Curry.
Are you an Allen Iverson fan?
Yes.
Over Steph?
Wait, here's what you're asking me. Are you asking me if I'm a fan of Allen Iverson? Yes.
Did you think Allen Iverson was trash?
Do I think that he ruined the game of basketball?
Do you think Allen
Also,
Iverson
yes.
was trash? I'm asking you point blank. Do you think Allen Iverson was trash?
As a teammate, yes.
Do you
But he
think
had to
Allen
do it
Iverson
all-
as a
all
player was trash?
No,
But you think Steph Curry as a player is trash?
correct.
Got it. That's it. That's it. I just want to answer the question. The question's enough to make him look dumb. Just like
All right.
we don't have to add anything. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Also, Allen Iverson went to the finals playing like trash by himself. I want to watch Steph do that. Then I'll turn this all around.
All right. So just because I feel that like if we leave it there, there's enough bad karma based on Ryan's taking this podcast that like we'll all get struck down. So I just remind people, Steph Curry had already a Hall of Fame caliber career before KD came into town. And when KD came into town, I'll remind you, he did something almost no other star does, which allowed somebody else to take the front seat.
Wait,
And we'll
I'm
never-
talking about now. I'm not saying
Ryan, I didn't interrupt you.
you did.
Let me cook.
You did.
I didn't interrupt you.
You did.
When did I interrupt you?
Wait.
Oh, no, when you weren't answering my question? Yeah, I'm not going to let the fucking witness take the stand and say whatever the fuck it is they want to say. What is wrong with you? All right, if I ask you, did you see the scene?
Councilman Harold reclaims
If I ask you, were you there to see in the crowd? Yeah, you cheated on your wife. Nah, sir. Look, we're not here for that. You go back to what I asked you. So that's the only reason I was interrupting. But like I said, Steph needs to deserve credit in knowing that he did what nobody would ever do, which is take the backseat to KD. And I think right now, the only thing that people have to realize is if KD wasn't on that team, he would have still cooked. It would have been amazing, and they still would have been finals. So people need to realize that shit and put some respect on Steph's name. Like I said, I fucking hate Steph. I hate what he's done to the basketball. I hate I hate what he's done for basketball. I hate these fucking jacking up threes. I fucking can't stand this shit. I need Shaqs. I need Joel Embiids. I need people in the paint.
Joel Embiid is shooting threes.
I know it's fucking annoying. I just want God. It's the same reason I think Giannis shouldn't be allowed to leave the paint. Like it's just I want certain things to happen. It's not
Like
gonna
when
happen.
you think about it, athletes now are better than they were before, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Are they?
So,
Because there's nobody in the paint.
Yeah, because they can all move.
I also think it's just a way to play. I think
Eric Dampier would not survive in this league.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Is that if the game was different back then, would Reggie Miller have been putting up Steph numbers? Would Ray Allen early on be putting up Steph numbers? Because no one would allow you to shoot that much from that far back. They would have thrown your ass right on the bench.
High percentage shots.
Well, that and like I think a hand checking too. So
yeah, agreed. But I'm saying like the league itself is just
it's
so
changed.
different.
Like certain players would play better like now than they would in their era. Like,
Absolutely.
Shit, even case in point, not even that long ago, Brandon Jennings, he would have fried now.
So it's like that's where I go to is it like this whole. The game has changed. I just hate where it is right now because I prefer it a different way.
Wait.
But I give credit to it's just
I love
cheating.
because I
Who
shoot
ruined
far
it?
deep threes anyway.
Who ruined it?
Huh?
Started with Allen Iverson. It got worse with Steph Curry. That's why he's trash.
I'm not even
don't think
getting your
Allen
Allen Iverson
Iverson-
because I don't know where the fuck
Yeah.
that came from.
I
But
don't
okay.
think he ruined anything.
Steph Curry has not ruined anything?
You said
Yeah,
Allen
Allen
Iverson. I
Iverson.
don't think he ruined anything.
Okay.
Allen Iverson did what
another
Steph
time.
is doing now, which is if you have no help, you got to do it by yourself. And I still stand firm that what Allen Iverson did by taking
Look at
that
that,
team to the
Brian.
finals,
To the what?
when Allen Iverson took that team to the finals, to me is the equivalent of like it's like winning a championship because they had no business being there, especially in winning one game against that fucking Lakers team. It's an impossibility. Nobody's ever done anything close to that, I think. In the
Not
sense of,
even, not Steph Curry for sure.
Kemba Mutombo was basically a walking corpse. Like he dragged that team to the final. You can't do that. Nobody throughout the history of the NBA, I mean, unless we're talking about way back when you got Wilt Chamberlain against a bunch of fucking plumbers, could do something like that. So I'm
Wilt-
just
What was 7-1 playing against
Billy Bob, who just installed the fucking furnace and then came and played Monday night.
Hey guys, I fixed a leak in the roof. We can play.
So it's hard to say like what would happen in what era, this, that, and the other. It's just some things are universal, right? Like Babe Ruth's the greatest baseball player of all time. Things like that. Beyond
Barry
that,
Bonds.
whatever.
I mean, it's Barry Bonds.
It's
Yeah,
Babe
Barry
Ruth.
Bonds.
It's not
It's Barry
close. That
Bonds.
was stupid.
No.
I would argue it's Pudge Rodriguez, but that's
all right.
I'm a big Pudge guy.
Final topic. We went off on a tangent about Steph Curry because Ryan mentioned him, and I had to bring it up.
I did.
So we're gonna pivot back to football. Earlier this week, Derek Chauvin's trial, or he was convicted on all 3 counts, which is something that made us all very happy. I was fucking driving and I was celebrating with people in traffic as I found out what happened. Yeah. It was great until my organization, the Raiders, did some stupid shit. Now, I'm going to go back to one of the comments on the last pod that we all did together. Someone asked if I have a different hat. There's a fucking different hat, okay? I got a different hat.
Wrong week to pick that one.
Is it a different hat?
Yeah, it's a different hat. All right, so...
Is it the same hat, but a second one?
Shut up, Ryan. All right,
so... Just saying, you should have probably wore the A's hat this week.
No,
I mean they've won 12 straight games. They're going for their Moneyball record.
All right, guys. Look, no. You guys will have your moment.
Okay, that's fair.
So, the Raiders tweeted, "I can breathe." Now, I posted that to the group chat instantly. Like, the hell is this? It got to the point where people were like, "Why is this tweet still up?" And then we found out who the fucking social media managers were for the Raiders, and I have their names, and I was prepared to come in and just kill them all, on the pod.
Cooked.
Cook them all on the pod. Mark Davis came out and said that, hey, I'm responsible for this tweet. I was listening to George Floyd's brother, and I just he said that we can all breathe easier or something like that. And he was like, yeah, I can breathe. Deshaun Reed, who covers the Raiders, great job by you. Got Mark Davis on the phone, or he did a meeting with him or something. And he was like, hey, did you know that this was used by police officers protesting all the protesters against their murder of Eric Gardner? And he was like, what, really? No, I had no idea. I didn't know that. That's very unfortunate. That's not what I was trying to get across. And I'm not taking the tweet down, but that's not what I meant by that. George Floyd's brother came out and said that he had no issues, and thanks to Raiders for the support. At the same time, it was a very disappointing day to be a Raiders fan, to be a part of the organization. We have a history of being on the right side of history, mostly in regards to Al Davis. We can all think he's a dick, but at the same time, when it comes to social issues, he's been on the right side of everything. This is one of the first times that I was highly disappointed and upset with how we handled it. And yeah, I feel like it undermined Al's legacy and the things that he did. It was good to see that Raiders Twitter is very divisive, especially the past few years. But it was good to see that a lot of us that I see on Twitter were all saying the same shit. Yo, what are we doing? Why is it still up? What the fuck are we thinking? Yeah, so that's all I got. It was some bullshit. I'm still upset with it. And we move. All right, who else wants to talk about it? Because I know you had some words, K-Dot. Go ahead.
I'm not going to go that hard because I feel sorry for you. I think...
That's honestly how I felt.
I told you this on the phone earlier this week, is that I think that this... I don't disagree with you on a lot of Al Davis fronts, even though I had some issues with him myself. I think it's just symptomatic of how stubborn that organization has always been run. And I think that it's very much the Raider way to kind of be stuck in your ways, even if they are on the right side of things. It's just they are very... Let me add one thing, though.
Mm-hmm. My bad. Let me add one thing. I think...
Wait.
I agree with you.
Hold on.
But one aspect of it was the fact that I don't remember it being stubborn, when it's coming against the fans itself of the Raider, like Raider Nation. I don't remember Raider Nation being against what we're doing before. Like
Okay.
if you're talking about against the league, you're fucking right 100%. But when it comes to like us, like nah.
I really don't think he's ever given a fuck. That's why you guys have played in so many fucking cities. So I mean, outside of
Al,
those,
I'm talking about Mark though.
can I finish my point?
ahead,
And
my
Mark
bad.
Davis's biggest
Go ahead.
stubbornness is that fucking haircut. You walk around like a goddamn jackass, and people ask him about it, and he says, "I'm not gonna do it because it pisses people off." It's the fucking Raider way. I asked you if you knew that story about the haircut. You said no. I'm like, it's a big thing. He's proud of it because it pisses people off. He's like, no, I'm just gonna do it.
But it don't piss me off. That's why I don't care.
It's just dumb as shit, and his haircut should bother everyone. It's a goddamn travesty. He belongs in jail.
Yeah. If somebody tells you, hey, that's offensive, that haircut's offensive to me because it looks so bad. And he
while
goes,
you are the brokest owner in sports, you can still afford a trip to Supercuts. They'll hook your boy up, okay? I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. But it's just there are 3 owners in the NFL specifically whose teams and the way they operate are directly related to that owner and the egos, whatever it is that owner does. With the Raiders, it's that stubbornness that Al started way back when that continues through that throw line. With Dallas, it's Jerry Jones. Ego above everything. That's why you see him make some moves as soon as he capitulates to fan pressure because he wants to make the popular move, always. With Washington, do anything you can possibly do to get a buck the Dan Snyder way. And that's up until recently, and we still don't know if that's actually changed. And even if it is changed, we know it's just because Dan Snyder wants to continue making bucks. So, look, it is what it is. Everybody can catch the smoke, but I'm just... The fact that you can see the uproar that it caused and still not delete the post, to me, is just, you are a stubborn fucking prick. That's it.
I'm not fucking leaving.
I think that was more towards Dan.
I get it. I understood. Hey, fucking break it down. Tell your goddamn owner to cut his hair.
So, final thoughts. Does anybody have any?
I do.
All right. Well, we just hit 500 subs.
Hey, guys.
Good shit.
Slow's cut me off. He was telling me I got final thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, we got some final thoughts.
I said I do.
Oh.
So, congrats to us. 500 subs. Welcome, everybody. Let's keep this shit going. All right.
K-Dot fan club increasing. Love it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, K-Dot.
Go ahead.
Tom Brady's on to
something. Hold on.
Tom Brady is on to something as far as the jersey thing. I just think his heart's in the wrong place. Okay. I understand people wanting to have it be all fun as far as every player gets to do whatever number. To me, it seems kind of fun too. But I really do think as far as getting people to be involved and to understand and learn the game, there is something to be said about having the jersey numbers fall within certain categories just to make it easy to know what the fuck is going on the field. Like, it's hard enough trying to explain to somebody what's going on with football and the positions and this, that, and the other. And if you're telling me that, like, fucking anybody could have the fucking single-digit number compared to this, that, it just, to me, it makes it fucking sloppy. It's the reason why when I'm watching college football, which I don't anymore because NCAA protests, but it's just fucking weird. When you're seeing all these goddamn players, like, you can't make sense of what the fuck is going on.
No other sport does that though.
Huh?
No other sport has like
no, but that's why I actually really like the fact that the NFL does it this way. Is that I always felt as though it was kind of simple in the sense of being able to understand, like, hey, these are the different positions, they fall within these lines, and you kind of tell what's going on in the field. Like, I don't necessarily need it personally, but I can understand as far as new people getting involved in the sport. I think it takes away more than it adds.
I mean, it's kind of like, if you think about it, like all other levels of football, like it's whatever fucking number. Like,
yeah, but people are thinking that like the reason they did it in the NFL is just to be no fun. No, there's a specific reason why they did it, and it was, like I'm saying, to make the game more simple for people to understand. And to me, it helped. I think. I don't think that look, experiment it, see if it has any diametric effects to anything, detrimental effects to anything. Do whatever. I understand wanting to try something new, but I'm just saying that if somebody asked me point blank, am I for or against the number thing? I'm gonna say I'm against it because I kind of like the way that it's been run. And no other sport has 22 fucking people on the goddamn field at the same time. You're trying to make sense of the shit.
Also,
soccer.
I think
it's so spread out. Nobody gives a fuck anyway.
I think that Tom Brady had another really good point, which is It's also the only sport where you call a play, like play stops, you call a play, and then you look at the defense and you read the defense based on their numbers.
Yep.
So you know how many linebackers are there, how many cornerbacks, how many safeties, how many linemen. If I have to hear 6 is the mic, I'm like, there's a running back? Why is there a running back as a linebacker right now? And he can read and be like, I see these numbers. I know who's on the other side right now. If you have a guy who's wearing 99 as a linebacker one week, and then a guy with 4 the next week, and someone's like, 4's the mic, tackle's going to be like, well, I got to pick up the running back. He turns around, tackles his own guy. It's very confusing.
Agreed.
Very confusing.
And I had one more. Oh, sorry.
It's a safety issue.
I had one more small final thought, which is that Brett Favre's a fucking idiot.
Yep.
And Brett, the only words I got to say to you is shut the fuck up. If you're telling everybody else that they shouldn't have their political opinions, then don't have your fucking own. Shut the fuck up, you fucking hypocrite. Like,
it's not about football.
Here's the thing. I honestly don't think you have an evil or mean bone in your body. I think what you do is exude what white privilege is. You poor Mississippi fuck that could throw a football really long and lucked into a goddamn career. This is who you are. And what it is that you think that your opinions matter more than black athletes and other people, and you're not even putting that together in your own goddamn head when you're telling other people to shut the fuck up while you go and spew your bullshit. Fuck you off, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a great episode.
I just don't get a final thought today.
Oh shit.
I thought you were
that was a
piggybacking
final
off the
thought.
Tom Brady thing.
Mine's really short. I just want everybody to know that perhaps the greatest pitcher in baseball had a 15 strikeout shutout in which he had 2 hits and an RBI yesterday. Jake DeGrom at 34 is at the top of his craft and getting better.
He's that old?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought he was younger.
And his fastball is the fastest fastball in the major leagues this year, averaging over 100 miles per hour. And it's going up.
Wait, did y'all sign him to a contract?
Yeah, we got him for the next 5 years.
Okay. All right. Well, congrats to you.
It's fun to watch. It's just like, it's something you got to mark on your calendar and go watch him pitch. He's that good.
Look forward to seeing the comments this time.
I love PBS.
All right. So
hold on.
This week, are we doing something for the draft or no?
What day is the draft start? Is it Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
My issue is work. So let me figure that out.
All right.
And I will let you know.
If you don't have to go ahead.
I record another podcast on Thursdays.
Oh fuck. I forgot. Man, fuck that pod. Tell him to come up here.
Hold on.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a rough week for him, but the Death Star, it did go boom.
It